In this video, we're going to be looking at how much of a significant impact this trail elbow, the right elbow, plays in your golf swing. I see it time and time again with a lot of my in-person students that come and see me at the golf projects, where they'll get this flared elbow taking place in the backswing, and it makes it very difficult to recover and make this effortless downswing take place in their golf swing. So in today's video, I'm going to be talking to you today about how this right arm plays a massive impact on the golf swing and where it should be set in the stages of the backswing, and how we can get this to move and transition effortlessly in that downswing for you. So if you're new to the channel, welcome. My name is Harry, PJ Golf Professional, transforming golfers worldwide on Skillet, so make sure you drop us a follow on there. And make sure you hit the subscribe button, as there's lots more content coming your way every Tuesday and Friday, 6 p.m. GMT. So too many golfers, I see this all the time in lessons, they'll take the club back with this trail arm just to begin with, set in this what we call very much so internally rotated position. Now the problem with this internally rotated position, where the trail elbow is pointing away from the body, it causes this flared elbow to take place in the backswing, and we can see here how much of a disconnection happens between both of my arms here, especially this right arm working the club away. And we tend to see two different types of takeaway moves. Number one, where we see the club moving too far away from us and on the outside in this manner here. Then we really have to force the club to go well over to try and do some sort of decent backswing. Or we'll see number two, where this right elbow will flare inwards like so, causing that club to come well on the inside, and then we get this very much so over the top club head pointing well to the right, sort of backswing position here. But on both of these occasions, this trail arm is very much so really far away from this lead arm, very much so disconnected, just all from the way we set this elbow at the start of the golf swing. So what we're going to begin with is just going through how we should be setting this trail arm in the correct position. So to begin with, when you set up to the golf ball, all I want you to do is just take your right palm, face it towards the ground, then face it towards the sky or away from you. And this helps you get this elbow now pointing towards the body, getting this external rotation in the arm, getting the elbow pointing towards the body. You're just going to twist your hand so that it goes onto the club like so, and that now makes it easy for you to set the club so that when it takes away, the elbow continues to face towards the body. And this is the trigger for you as you take the club away. So you know now that we want this elbow to face towards the body, because if we have it flared out, it causes us to get very much so disconnected on the way back. To start in the golf swing now, with this elbow set in this position pointing towards the body, it's going to make it so much easier for you just to take the club back like so. So when you take the club back just to begin with, the key move here for you is just ensuring that that elbow continues to face towards the body. And you can see here, I'm just doing a couple of one-handed, right-handed swings here, just taking the club back all the way up to where the shaft reaches parallel to the ground. And this just allows me to get a good sensation of how this right arm should fold naturally as we take it up into that backswing move. You can see there, I'm just setting it naturally, allowing that hinge to take place in my right wrist, getting that butt end of the club to point towards the target. The club face now is set on a lovely angle in relation to my spine angle there, nice and square, and the elbow is just facing towards the body. To be specific, just underneath the right chest muscle of mine. So we've spoken about that elbow pointing towards the body and how we set this arm working away into the backswing. I wasn't actually meant to hit that, but look how straight it went. Good indication the club face is staying nice and square as we do this move. So working our way into the actual backswing, where we would almost set the club on this 90-degree angle where the lead arm of ours gets parallel to the ground, creating this L-shaped position here. What tends to happen is when we get this elbow facing away from us and it flares outwards, obviously the club goes too far in or out. So how can we ensure that that club is working right through the chest here, as opposed to on the inside being too connected or on the outside being too disconnected? Well, a great way of doing this is taking your right hand now and placing it right in the middle of the club like so. Button the club is now going to point towards the target. We've already got the club set in this position as we've done that takeaway move up to this position here. You can even start just with the button the club pointing on the belt buckle, then we're working it up to that first move that we've just been doing there. For this second move now, it's important that we begin to add this rotation. So I'm thinking about two things from this point here. I'm thinking about my right hip rotating towards the wall behind me, and then I'm allowing my right arm to fold a little bit more so than we have been doing in the takeaway to get that button the club to point at the golf ball. So all I'm doing here is I'm getting my right hip to turn and then button the club to face the golf ball as I'm folding this trail arm upwards. And you can see there this elbow is continuing to face towards the body as opposed to being too flared out, causing this shaft angle to get too steep and the button of the club pointing too far to the ground. So I'm just doing these two movements here, takeaway here, and then getting that button of the club to point at the golf ball as I begin to set this rotation up to the top of the swing. So that helps you get that setting there, and then we can continue to get this turn all the way up to the top of the swing and get that button of the club to face towards the camera angle there. That allows the elbow now to set on a more 90-degree angle as opposed to flared out like so. So when we take two hands onto the golf club and we allow these feelings to take place, we've got this elbow set in that position and getting that takeaway, setting that arm, folding that arm just to begin with, getting that club face nice and square. Then we're getting this rotation in the body, turning up to the top, getting that feeling of the button of the club to point at the golf ball, turning all the way up to the top of the swing. Look how much closer both of my arms are together. Makes it much easier to keep them nice and connected, working our way up to the top of the swing. And that's just going to make this downswing move that I'm going to show you now so much easier to implement. But just before we bring in the downswing phase, I just want to give a quick shout out to GX Golf, the sponsors to the channel. GX Golf provide high quality golf gloves for a fraction of the price. If you're looking for a brand new golf glove manufacturer to try, I'd highly recommend giving these a go and using my discount code Harry10 in the description below. You can click on there and they do bundles of 3, 6 or 9 gloves. Recommend trying out 3 just to begin with like I did. Really impressed with the quality of the gloves and I'm certainly going to continue using these for the rest of the season ahead, and I guarantee you will do too. So for the downswing, once we've set ourselves in this lovely position up to the top of the swing and we've rehearsed this move a couple of times, working on that takeaway, getting used to setting that right arm in that correct position so the elbow points at the body, and we're working our way up, folding this arm up to the top of the swing and keeping that elbow nice and connected to the body. How can we transition this in to the downswing? Well, I've literally just done it in a nutshell there. All I've done is I've got to the top of my swing and I've just initiated a little bit of a squat move here. You can see from this camera angle, I've just squatted down ever so slightly, and at the same time I'm going to feel like my elbow is going to come towards the body like so. So going towards the lower part of my chest here, or just underneath the chest where the elbow was pointing at this part of the golf swing here, that takeaway here. And what this is going to do is it's going to allow you to set on this more shallower downswing as we get this pressure moving into the ground. So we're creating more power from the ground reaction forces, pressing into the ground to then push back up and create more force, but at the same time we're shallowing that club like so. The one thing you've got to remember with this is we've got to let it happen. We've got to let that move happen in the downswing. Otherwise, if we start forcing it with this right arm and elbow again, it's going to push too far out in front of us. And we're going to be starting that downswing from the upper body, the shoulders and arms, as opposed to this nice little squat move that we want to be generating in that downswing first to get it starting from the lower body. A great indication for this is taking that right hand again in the middle of the shaft, working it up to the top of the swing, then getting that squat, allowing that arm to come towards the body. For me, it feels like I'm catching a towel that just appears as soon as I start the downswing. So I'm catching that towel there and I'm just checking that button of the club is pointing at the golf ball still. That ensures that although we're getting on this shallower plane, the club plane itself is nice and neutral, as opposed to being too far out or too far inwards. So up to the top, and then we're squatting, getting the shallower plane by catching that towel, the feeling of catching that towel, and then we can rotate and just ensure that butt end of the club goes left of you on the way through. Now, what do I mean by left of you? Well, left of you, if we get this butt end of the club to go towards the target, that's no good because it's going to encourage the club face to move away from that golf ball. When we want the club face to go towards the golf ball. If it moves away from the golf ball and away from the body, it's going to encourage more of those hosel strikes instead, or the worst shot ever in golf, the shanks for the irons. So from this movement here, once we've set this move in the downswing, we just want to rotate the body, rotate this left hip out the way, and get that butt in the club to point at the wall behind you, or if at the driving range, the bay behind you, just in this position here. Now, if I was to do those two motions with two hands, it looks a little bit like this here. So I'm setting that downswing, and I'm rotating and getting that butt in the club to work left of me. And that's going to ensure that I'm keeping those hands nice and controlled ahead of the club face and get that compression that we're after for the irons. If we get this way on the downswing, we've got to lean out and then increase the loft on the club. Angle of attack goes more up as opposed to down, causing inconsistency in your golf game. But there is something else that you can do that's going to make these moves that you implement so much easier to achieve much sooner. And it's using a training aid called the TRS Ball. Now, I mentioned this briefly in a recent video of mine, and it's all about how it can help you keep those arms connected in the backswing and also the downswing. So you place it on your lead arm like this here, and just wrap this strap around your arm. And then when you set up ready to hit the golf ball with two hands, ensuring, of course, that elbow is going to be pointing towards the body at the address position. And I just get those feels just to take place, ensuring that my right arm is keeping hold of that TRS ball. It allows us to set in this position here, lovely takeaway position there. Then it helps me set the club on this angle here, continuing to rotate up to the top of the swing. You can see there I'm applying more pressure onto the ball just to ensure my arms stay more connected. If I let go of the pressure, look what happens. I can already feel that my elbow isn't in the right position at the top of the swing. So this is great for feels. Without that, you can't really get a good feel for where that right elbow is set at the very top of your swing. So up to the top of the swing, keeping that pressure onto the ball from the trail arm helps you keep that setting of the elbow. Then we're just squatting down a touch, feeling like we're catching that towel on the downswing, and look at that already. It just makes it easy for me to get that butt in the club to point at the golf ball, and then we're avoiding silly release and extension by getting those hands to work left, getting that butt in the club to work left and point towards the wall behind us. And then from there, we can just release the club on the way through and finish into that full golf swing. So let's give this a try. So I'm focusing on that folding of the right arm throughout the swing, setting that downswing and getting that rotation on the way through. Do this in stages, build it up into full motion, practice swings, and then start hitting a few shots. Nice shot, ever so slightly thin there, just didn't quite get that squat in the downswing on that one to then rotate through, but it was a nice, easy swing on that, nice little fade in my golf game, in my golf swing in fact. So I'm going to take the TRS ball off now and see if I can implement that same feel for the full swing. By the way, you can get these TRS balls from Golf Swing Systems using the code SHORE5. I'll leave the link in the description below for these as well. So full swing, I'm just thinking about the same thoughts as previously. Takeaway, folding the arm, setting that elbow, keeping it towards the body, squatting, and then getting that butt end of the club to face towards the wall behind me. Very nice shot to finish on there. Very, very straight down the middle. So I'd highly recommend giving that a try and dropping a comment down below to let me know how you get on from watching this video. Be sure to hit the subscribe button, lots more content coming your way. And by all means, why not check out any of these two videos here. The top one more about how we can take this club head back on a more reliable takeaway move, or the bottom one talking to you a little bit more in detail about how we can get this arm setting in the correct position, correct motion to start that downswing of yours. And very soon I'll be able to show you my new downswing course that's available for anyone to take a look at to help them further improve the golf. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the very next video.